Welcome to the Quick Time Event Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Josh, and as always, I am joined by my partner in crime, John.
Me!
The Quick Time Event Podcast is a chance for John and I to get together each and every week to talk about all of the nerdy things that we love. If you like what you hear, you can find this podcast live on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/QTE Plays or on YouTube the day after and on all of your favorite podcast services shortly after the live show ends, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and more. This week, we're going to revisit the predictions we made about, can you believe it's almost been 6 months?
Shut your whore mouth.
It's been like almost a half a year since we did the first podcast of the year with our predictions.
It's been, more importantly, it has been over a year. It has been like 15 months since pandemic hell started.
It's true, yeah.
Time is not real.
No, it's all an illusion. What bastard sat there and calculated like how many days? I mean, it took them thousands of years to be able to do this, but like, how do they figure out exactly how many?
How to divide it all?
Yeah, exactly.
Correctly,
right. And
I don't know.
Like to the extent,
some fucking family was like, hey, you know what we should do? What our legacy should be? Let's plague humanity with some knowledge.
To the extent
that'll take years to figure out.
Like, it's so precise that they have it down to adding one day every couple of years. Like,
yeah, which
that's how,
also, I'm sure that's how it just had to be. But it also feels like maybe they fucked up and they didn't want to go back and redo it.
Because it's not like, perfect. It's like,
okay, fine. Then every day should have been 24 hours and however many seconds long. Why didn't we just do that from the get-go,
It's because it's like pi. It's like no one wants to count to the 3.14151 a second. No one wants to do the decimal second. I guess the second wouldn't exist. They just need to change what the second is. Just make the second a little bit longer, I guess.
Yeah, right? It's like, okay, instead of counting 1, 2, 3, just do 1, 2, 3. It's like, come on. Fucking cop-outs. Babies.
Yeah, I guess it's similar to, why the United States just refuses to get on the metric system. Like everybody has their thing already. Like we already have ours. The entire planet uses ours.
Except, and we've talked about this before, besides temperature, I really do like
air temperature.
Metric system. Yeah.
Air temperature.
Yeah. Scientific temperature, yeah, go metrics. That's fine.
Or Kelvin. Whichever.
That's fine too. But like, why don't we have a system where everything's just nice and round with all those zeros and like everything's a factor of 10 basically?
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Sure does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Hey, how many feet are in a yard? 3. How many inches are in a foot? 12. What?
At least we're not as bad as the UK. The UK over there likes to think that they're all smart and like, oh yeah, look. No, the UK is more fucked up than the United States because not only do they have a mixture of metric and imperial, they also have that other weird shit that's like measuring human body weight by stone and like...
Oh yeah.
No, UK, you get out of here with this.
It's like the stone isn't even. It was just
a random rock
literally
or something.
A stone that like a king found, and he was like, "Hey, this is heavy.
I weigh 4 of
our
these."
Scale.
Yeah. No, the UK likes to be over there and shit on America for the not using the metric system, but then they have even a more fucked up thing going on. So look,
I just wanna know. I don't believe that they had scales whenever they started using stones. So did they just get a very strong man to lift up the king? And then lift up the stone and be like,
good point.
I think the king is probably like one of these stones or 2 of these stones.
Well,
how the fuck did they get that?
I'm sure they had scales. I mean, when was the scale invented? Look at the big brains that we have.
Scales?
When was, because a scale is really just a lever, isn't it? You put it on a fulcrum and then you put the lever on top and it goes like this. It's a simple machine, basically, right?
Yeah, but it seems too advanced for...
I mean,
around 1770 is when Richard Salter made the British balance scale.
But Monty Python would lead me to believe that they had scales as early as whenever King Arthur was a thing, which was, early AD kind, like I guess close to the first millennia, like 880 maybe.
Okay,
so weighing witches against ducks. They used a scale for that.
Yeah, I guess.
That's not yeah, right. I don't know.
Stones.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you Brits.
No stones here. Kilograms or pounds? Preferably kilograms, but...
Preferably kilograms. Yes.
What the fuck are we talking about? This is a podcast that we do. I did the intro already. What have you been up to?
Oh my god, I've done so many things. So many things, my dude. So, let's start off. Obviously, watch more One Piece. Only reason I'm bringing that up is because I just watched a very, very upsetting episode. For all of you One Piece fans out there, I got to episode 483. You should know what that means. If you don't, just look up the fucking episode title because they do not worry about spoiling what's going to happen.
Is it like, is there like lead up to it, or it's just like comes out of nowhere?
Oh no, the entire point of the arc that I'm watching was leading up to this. Like the situation that is unfolding could have gone one of two ways.
I guess was there like foreshadowing to like let you know that this could be an outcome?
Oh yeah.
Or was it? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So, without spoiling things, somebody got captured. And so the whole point of this arc is that somebody's trying to rescue that somebody. So like one of two things is going to happen with said captured person. So
the bad one happened.
The bad one ended up happening. And it sucks because like there was a glimmer of hope for a bit there. Anyways, what have I been up to? I'm a damn dirty liar. I did not hold off on buying Pokemon Snap. I did buy Pokemon Snap. I just saw so many pictures on Twitter of people playing and like posting their actual in-game photos, and I was like, man, I wanna feel like I'm part of something. I wanna interact with people. So I bought it, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. That said, I have been very good about pacing myself. I have not really like binged it too hard, which I could see if you did binge it really hard, why you might not be having that much fun with it anymore. There are certainly things that there are these like mini quests that like they give you these like little baby hints about how to get certain Pokemon to like do certain things, like how to get them to do a trick or like interact with another Pokemon or something. And some of them are pretty easy to figure out, but other ones it's like, what the fuck kind of what? How do I do this? Because like it seems like there's some sequence of events that normally it's like, okay, you got to do these two things and then you'll get your reward. But some of them it's like, okay, you got to do these 4 things, but make sure you do them in the right order. And you can't miss this. And also, it's a rail cart game. So, like, if you miss it, then you just have to restart the whole level. Some of them I just can't even figure out. So, I don't want to consult a guide because I really do just want to figure it all out and, like, experience it. But I can only run a course so many times before
I'm a seasoned gamer. All right. I have fucking almost 200 platinum trophies on the PlayStation 5. I know how to play video games.
Yeah.
Janet has obviously also been playing it. She got it day one and she's
Are you playing it?
No.
Did you play it?
No.
Okay.
So she pretty much finished everything within the first week or so. And she hasn't really touched it this week.
If you mainline it, I even looked up on how long to beat. It said it's like 10 hours to basically unlock all the main like courses.
Sure. And she was trying to get like some of these really rare Pokemon, and
as one
there's
does,
just literally no way I would have ever figured out some of the things. Like there's a Suicune in one level, and
son of a bitch.
Spoiler?
What?
Yeah, there's a Suicune in one level, and you literally have to like find 3 secret passages by doing like the most random shit in the most random order. Like I would never, it would only happen like if I was playing the game for real, it would only happen by luck. Like, just dumb luck that I happen to do the right sequence.
You have to hit these 4 Pokemon with an apple, and then also
get them to go
these other 6 Pokemon by using the scan ability.
And then you have to like make certain ones light up and certain ones can't light up. And then you have to make certain ones go in certain directions and take pictures of certain ones. It's total randomness. But it's so specific randomness that it's just almost impossible. There's no way, there's no reality where I would play that game and be able to find the Suicune without consulting a guide.
Here's my problem. Here's why I don't want to consult a guide. Because normally I'd be like, yeah, okay, this is clearly there's stuff here that some madman put in, and I'm never going to be able to big brain this. My problem is that I waited like 25 years for this game.
Sure.
And I don't want to just be like, okay, I'm going to look everything up and take all the pictures, and now I guess I wait another 25 years.
Right. I'll play Pokemon Snap 3 when I'm Check's Watch, 55 years old.
Yeah, so that's my issue. I'm sure within the next like week or two, I'll get everything that was either realistic to get or maybe a bit on the tougher side to figure out. But there's definitely going to be some challenges that I just will have to look up. It's just a matter of time.
How are you feeling about length? From what I've read from reviews and the influencers that I watch, they say that it's like if you have nostalgia for Pokemon Snap, it's worth the $60 price point.
Yes.
And like this, there's enough there that like it keeps you hooked in terms of like finding new stuff and getting new abilities or whatever. And like,
oh yeah,
it hooks you and it almost has one of those, not as deep as Stardew Valley, but it has one of those things where it's like there's a rewarding feedback that makes you want to keep going.
For sure. Yeah, the system that I really like that they implemented was every time you play a level, you get like experience in that level, and you can basically level up the level itself. And each time you do that, more Pokemon appear or interact with each other in new ways, and like basically it just gets more complex. And it's rewarding you for being good at taking pictures and being like, okay, you can clearly handle it whenever it's just 5 Pokemon doing very simple things. So let's take it a step up. Now there's going to be 7 Pokemon, and a couple of them are going to interact with each other. And then you can level up again once you like essentially get good at that. And they're going to be like, okay, now there's 10 and half of them interact with each other. And then rank 4 is the last rank. So yeah, there's a very nice feedback loop, and it does make it feel lengthier.
Right.
Because yeah, you're replaying the same level, but like there's more stuff to do within that level. It's not exactly the same.
Right. The thing that I have heard from the negative side though is that even though it's like you're saying you're leveling up the level, and there's new stuff you unlock within that level. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like there's enough content there to really warrant the $60 price point.
Yeah. It's definitely, for me, it's 100% I'm happy with it, but that is largely coming from nostalgia.
Sure.
So if I had no prior experience with Pokemon Snap, this probably should have been a $40 game. But, I mean, that $20 markup for me is fine. But I'm having a great time with it, so I'm going to sink a lot more hours into it more than likely. But again, not going to burn myself out because I know that it's very easy for me to do that. Like if I just sat on Saturday and just played for 8 hours straight, I would probably put this game down for another year. So I'm going to avoid that. I've also played more Final Fantasy VII. My concern was that if I bought Pokemon, I would put down Final Fantasy, but I have proved myself wrong.
Well, I mean, you're taking the approach where you are purposefully limiting yourself on Pokemon, so there's going to be time there. Yeah,
for sure. So I did get a couple more chapters in. I think I just beat chapter 12. I either beat chapter 12 or beat chapter 13. I just can't remember if I started 13 or if that's where I left off. I can tell you that I'm very upset with what's happening in the story right now.
Are you in the train yard?
Oh, I finished that.
Okay.
I did the next thing too, involving the pillar.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rip.
Yeah. Not happy.
Yeah. They gotcha.
I didn't think that was going to happen at all.
Sure.
Let alone this early in, like, if this is just the beginning area from the original game, I didn't think this shit was going to happen now.
Sure.
I thought it would happen, like, in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3.
Jesse, Wedge, and Biggs are barely in Final Fantasy VII.
That's so upsetting
I
because
know.
Jessie was probably my favorite.
Yeah, Jessie was great. She was great.
I am beside myself. Wedge was a little hit or miss for me personally as just a character.
Yeah.
He had his funny moments, but like, I don't know, he seemed a little complainy sometimes. But like, I really liked Biggs too.
Biggs is like
Biggs was so cool.
Biggs was so fucking cool. They like basically just ripped Charlie Sheen from not Apocalypse Now. That was the one his dad was in. What's the Vietnam movie Charlie Sheen's in?
God,
what the fuck is that movie? Platoon. They took Charlie Sheen out of Platoon and they made him a Final Fantasy VII character, and that's Biggs. Yeah. He's so fucking cool. But yeah, those but again, doesn't that speak to this game and like how they made you care about
these were characters that like you basically never gave a shit about in the original? Yeah, I was upset when these things happened.
Sure, they maybe got like 2 or 3 writing lines in the entire game in Final Fantasy VII, and they flushed them out into fully realized characters that you care about in the first 20 hours of this game. It's so fucking good.
It's so good, but also it's so just not good.
Yeah.
For my emotional state,
sure.
I was not pleased. Is that the big one? The big one. I almost forgot the big one. So that's it for games. But I watched a bunch of movies.
Oh yeah.
So what was the last movie that I talked about?
I think Infinity War, because you said we talked about the last scene with Thanos going to the farm thing. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Oh
about?
yeah, I was like, what a weird place to leave off.
Right.
Okay, so I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I see how and why that movie was very important to setting up Endgame. Also, I think Ant-Man is one of my favorite heroes.
Sure.
Like, not as a hero, but just the character. And I always forget his name. Is it Scott?
Yeah.
Scott is so great.
Yeah, he's just a dad. He's just a dad. He wants to be a good dad. That's all he wants.
He's just a dad who wants to be a good dad, who also is wrapped up in this science suit.
Sure.
Love him. Like, he pretty much is, I think, if you or I or like a normal ass person was just suddenly given the ability to have superpowers, he is how a normal person would react, where it's like a lot of stuff goes straight over your head and things that seemingly like you're just like, what the fuck is happening? What? Yeah, I was helping out. I had to go to Germany to help out Cap. Yeah, Captain America. We call. Like, yeah, that's 100% what I'd do.
Right.
Without a doubt. Him and Tom Holland as Spider-Man, like, just their like innocence is 100% relatable in terms of how I think really somebody going from normal to superhero would most likely go. Anyway, so that was a great movie. Watch Captain Marvel. I really enjoyed it. I think I remember people being like maybe unhappy with it when it came out, but also it's also because like it starred a female, and
I think that was probably most of it. I think people were just upset that like a character that powerful exists. It's just like, well, I mean, you can't help that. Like,
yeah,
you know.
My biggest issue with her is that I don't understand her power. Like, I get how she got it, but I don't really understand. I don't see how you got from point A of her getting the power to point B, which is the power itself. Like, what is her power? Is she just like God now?
Pretty much. She fused with the engine thing, right?
Yeah, I thought that the energy from the warp speed, whatever, light speed engine just went in her.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, so she should be maybe super fast, but how is she shooting beams out of her arms?
I don't know, man. How do gamma rays turn Bruce Banner into the Hulk?
That's very fair. That's very fair.
I think aside from the sexism, I think the critique that most people had for the movie itself was like, it's the first Marvel movie we've gotten since, man, I don't even know, like Captain America, maybe, that was like pretty cookie cutter origin story.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because you look at what like the more recent origin stories have been, and you have things like Black Panther, which is fucking amazing. You have Doctor Strange, which did something really interesting and different. Ant-Man, which was very interesting and different. Like, there weren't any like just generic, oh, this character learns who they are and like how to control.
Sure,
you haven't had one of those in a long time. And I think that like it definitely conforms, at least the plot structure conforms a lot closer to like the early MCU phase 1 movies. And that feels a little bit dated, but at the same time they were able to do interesting stuff with like bringing back Nick Fury and Coulson. And
yeah, I was going to say Fury almost stole the show for me.
Oh personally. Yeah, he was great.
He was fantastic.
You'll have to see more Coulson outside of his TV show that no one ever watches. And like aside from Fury stealing the show, I can't remember his name. The Skrulls, whatever, they were so great. What's his name? Yeah. What's the leader's name?
Oh God, I can't remember, and I just watched it. I just remember them all being Skrulls.
Just like his fucking his sense of humor and like his character is just so great. As just like something that completely, because you start the movie thinking one thing and then it just completely flips it on its head.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All in all, I still really enjoyed the film. If you had an issue with it, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. And I did watch Endgame. I finally watched the big one.
He watched it, everyone. He watched the most important like nerd zeitgeist moment of the last ever, maybe.
I did it. I now understand. Until the scene happens, I didn't understand. I didn't know where that "no, I don't think I will" reference came from. I didn't know that was that was in here. I just thought it was some old man from some random ass movie, and now then I saw it and I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch!" It all makes sense. So obviously it was a great movie, very well done. I still think there was a scene towards the start of Endgame where they go and find Thanos and they just fucking destroy him because he's done his thing. He's weak. And then like the camera goes kind of blurry and then fades to black and then it says 5 years later. This happens within like the first 30 minutes of the film. I think that would have been a better place to leave off from Infinity War, personally. It just felt like we were watching a movie end right at the start.
Sure.
And I'm sure that somebody who is way more well-versed with movie making and how Hollywood works could spend an entire 24-hour day telling me why I'm wrong for thinking this. But I still think it.
It's a fair criticism. It's just for the drama of it. Like the entire...
Oh, yeah.
It's Empire Strikes Back. It's I am your father and then cut to black, basically. Like...
Yeah. And that's the thing. If it was for the time for when it released, I agree with how they cut it and how they released them. But if you view it all back to back to back like I did, then it definitely makes a lot more sense to have the beating of Thanos in his, like, he won form as the end of Infinity War, and then just immediately start Endgame with the 5 years later. But that's, again, being able to go back and watch them all back to back to back and not waiting for releases.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think the other thing, though, is, like, aside from just losing everybody and being like, okay, this is where we're stopping, had they, like, come back and killed Thanos, like, if they ended the movie killing Thanos, I guess, like, for the next year, because there was a year between these movies, you would be like, okay, well, Endgame is then going to be trying to figure out how to get everybody back. But I don't think you would have necessarily thought that Thanos would have been part of it. Like, if you saw Thanos die, because I don't remember ever thinking time travel was going to be involved. I was really latching on to the Soul Stone idea, where, like, there seems to be a dimension within the Soul Stone. Like, you saw a young Gamora in there, and like, it's hard to understand. And I think that was how it worked in the comics. Like, the Soul Stone, like, when Thanos snapped his fingers, everybody went into the Soul Stone, basically. And so I thought, well, they're going to use the Soul Stone to get everybody back. I never thought time travel was ever going to be a part of it. I guess until maybe... Well, no, because I guess I didn't know... I like, when Ant-Man and the Wasp ends, you just figure, like, okay, Scott Lang's kind of fucked, and that's why he wasn't in Infinity War. It's because he's just in there, and then at some point he's going to figure out how to get out.
He's just floating.
I didn't think the Quantum Realm was going to grant time travel, essentially.
Yeah, the Quantum Realm, that's a fun little nifty trick.
Sure is.
Cool little party trick you can just pull out.
Yeah. So, like, if you saw Thanos die, you probably wouldn't necessarily think that Thanos was going to come back.
That's fair.
And so, like, if you started to see Endgame promos with Thanos in it, you'd be like, wait, what the fuck happened?
That's true. Okay. Ultimately, I think that they, now, since you can do this, it does feel like they should just be viewed as one unit. Because that would be the best way, I think, to view them.
I actually like watching it in chronological order. I think watching, maybe not Captain Marvel right away, but, like, maybe watching Captain Marvel sometime around, like, Civil War. And then with, it's annoying, but with Ant-Man and the Wasp, watch Ant-Man and the Wasp
before Infinity
War, and then watch the Stinger after Infinity War before Endgame. That's how it works.
This is like whenever I played back, whenever there were only like 3 Halo games, or maybe 4. I remember playing through Halo, then Halo, the first like 3 missions of Halo 2, when they like do the jump, then switching over to Halo
ODST.
3 ODST, then going back and beating 2, and then beating 3. And
it's just
like,
machete order.
It's
is what
annoying,
it is.
but it's how it probably should be done.
Right, it's machete order. It's the same thing with Star Wars. My preferred way to watch Star Wars, the new trilogy aside, is you start with A New Hope, and then you watch Empire Strikes Back. You find out that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, and then you go back and watch. So you skip over 1 entirely, because that does nothing. You don't need to know anything about episode 1 at all. You skip episode 1, you start at episode 2, you see Anakin being trained by Obi-Wan, and then you watch 2, you watch 3, you watch him become Darth Vader, and then you go to Return of the Jedi, and you finish there. Like, that's, to me, machete order is the correct way to watch Star Wars. There's probably a machete order, it probably exists already, but there's probably a machete order to the MCU
Marvel.
too.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so anyways, getting back onto the Marvel track. Going back slightly to Captain Marvel, here is my Endgame / I guess just big picture issue with her. I get that she spent the entire 90s up until 2014 or whatever going around to other planets and helping people and saving other people. Everybody's afraid of Thanos.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's something I'm curious about too.
Like, in Guardians of the Galaxy, his name was always spoken with like with fear.
I mean, you saw at the beginning, like in Infinity War, when he was going around conquering planets, he conquered Gamora's planet. That wasn't the first planet that he conquered. It's not like that was
it was clear that he was leaving those planets with half the population.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, where are you?
What are you doing, girl? Where's the help?
You can travel at light speed without a ship.
When
what are you doing?
Also, it's like, when the Chitauri invaded Earth? What? You just ignored that completely? I don't know. There's a lot of plot holes with Captain Marvel being gone for 15 years, 20 years, however long it's been. And then her just being like, there's a lot of planets out there. Yeah, there are. There sure are.
You didn't save any of them.
What, have you been just living it up on Nowhere, just drinking all the time? What are you doing?
I guess.
But no, that couldn't have been it because Thanos wrecked Nowhere too, so I don't know.
So and this is probably dumb, and there's probably a reason that this couldn't happen. Maybe there's not. Maybe somebody just couldn't think outside the fucking box. Thanos, my dude, you have the Infinity Gauntlet. You have all the stones that give you control over basically everything in the universe. How about instead of removing half of the people who are consuming the resources, you double the resources? Has that thought crossed your mind?
No, man. Death.
No?
Death.
You don't just want to add another couple planets with a bunch of resources?
This is where, like, there's... How much do you know about Thanos, like, comic book Thanos?
Not very much. I tried looking into it after, and it was late, and I was like, this is not a good idea.
So I grew up as a DC kid. I don't know that much about the Marvel comic
Sure.
universe, I guess. Or at least the main Marvel comic universe. But there's something about Thanos. The entire reason in the comics Thanos wanted to do this was because he was in love with a goddess.
Oh,
it was like, it might have been, I think it was
I
think it was the personification of death. He was like in love with this deity.
I think it was Lady Death or something.
Yeah, something like that. But
then,
obviously that
like,
motivation
Deadpool also fell in love with her or something like that, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But there's like there's an extra motivation for Thanos that makes it like insane. Like, he's not thinking. He's like in the comics, there's no reasoning. It's not because he's doing it for some altruistic reason.
He's not balancing the universe. He's
trying to get laid.
He's horny.
Yeah. Thanos. Yeah. Bonk.
Yeah. I thought it was a very good ending for basically all of the original Avengers. Half of them I was good with their endings. Half of them I was like, okay, what's going on with you?
Yeah, there's more that
Professor Hulk is not. The way that I talked to it about one of my friends, I was like, I don't love how they did Professor Hulk in this, because he feels like when he was just Hulk, he was 10 strength, 1 brain. When he was Banner, he was 10 brain, 1 strength. But whenever he's both, he feels like he's 6 on both. Like, he's too smart to like get angry, but he's also too muscly to think. Like, it just, I don't know. He felt really averaged in a bad way.
Sure. I don't I like him mainly because of his like, he basically just becomes a comedic character.
Sure. I just I liked Banner being the comedic character and Hulk being, I like that he was 2 characters in one.
I do think that
it worked very well.
I think Ragnarok is is his best movie.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing like is the start of the movie where they put the title card up and it's like 5 years later. A lot has happened in 5 years, and
yeah, clearly.
Like,
look at Thor.
Right. And like I think that's part of it. Like, obviously he learned to cope with himself, but there's like, stuff he had to deal with.
Yes.
Like these people have all been through fucking hell. And like 5 years later, they're all just trying to cope.
They're trying to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did think that the way things ended, especially with Captain America and Iron Man, I felt like I got a lot of closure. I'm now annoyed whenever I see, like, there was a Twitter trend or whatever, where it was like a bunch of fans were petitioning to bring Tony back, and I'm like, let the man rest. That was like one of the last lines. Jesus. He got his character development. He fulfilled his arc. Like, just let him rest. That's all he wanted to do for the past, I don't know, 6 movies he was in. He was always not like, able to sleep.
He became Iron Man in Iron Man 1. And then Iron Man 2, Iron Man 2 is where it started to be like, okay, I kind of don't want to do this anymore. Like, obviously, like, Pepper is more important than this, but I keep getting dragged back into it.
I'm trying to mature and grow as a person, but oh no, the world is on fire.
Yeah, and then ever since then, it's just been like, okay, I guess I'll do it one more time. I'll put on the armor one more time, and it keeps going.
Cool. We can have these accords that like hold us all accountable, and like I don't have to make decisions anymore. Sign me up. Nope, we're gonna split instead.
Yeah.
But all of these little things aside, obviously it was a fantastic film, and I cannot imagine the sheer amount of hours and effort that this took to plan out and write, and all the contracts that had to be written for all the actors.
Yeah.
My God.
I'm going to pull up the Marvel slate real quick. Hang on.
So I do have plans to tentatively watch the final movie that I need to get caught up on tonight, actually. Post-podcast, I will hopefully be watching Far From Home. And at that point, I could watch them as they release like a normal person.
Like a normal person.
It's only been like, what, 8 years since I've been outdated.
So at the end of Endgame, obviously Iron Man's story's wrapped up. Captain America, Steve Rogers' story is wrapped up.
Yes.
You're gonna watch WandaVision. You're gonna watch Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And I've seen, I saw the picture of Falcon.
Sure.
/ Captain America. So like I know how that's gonna end. I just don't know how we're gonna get there.
Right, and they've said that Captain America 4 is happening. So we're getting at some point a Sam Wilson Captain America movie. Yep. We have Black Widow coming up, but Black Widow is sort of like I think that we expect some plot development in Black Widow for the future, but obviously with her being dead, this is a prequel, not a sequel.
Yeah, I was gonna. So that's the thing. I was like, man, I can see how maybe this is going to play into something in the long game, but like, she is definitely gone.
Right.
Like, gone to the point where Infinity Stones can't bring her back.
Sure. We have Loki coming out this summer, which is like, from what the trailers look like, we know that Loki is in this because he's fucked up the timeline.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't, I mean, yes, he did it on purpose, but like, it wasn't his fault.
Right. So there's like, okay, so there's Loki. There's like 3 major movies that I think are going to like really fuck things up. So there's Loki, which is all about restoring some kind of timeline.
Is that a movie or is that a show?
That's a show,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which, I mean, just by title alone,
you put Mr. Magic in there, and yeah, you're gonna have time fuckery.
Right. Multiverse of Madness implies that there's gonna be a lot of like, who knows what's gonna happen? Like, that could theoretically rewrite everything.
Yeah.
Depending on how that goes.
We might get America's ass back.
And then there's been so many rumors about Spider-Man No Way Home. And is this Spider-Verse? Are they going to fuck with that at all? Like, what is happening with Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
And so like with those 3 movies, Spider-Man coming out this year, Doctor Strange next year, Loki this year, Like with those three movies, I think that I don't know. It's exciting to kind of speculate with what we have coming up. And then on top of that, we have all the new stuff. We have Shang-Chi, which looks great. Eternals, which I know nothing about the Eternals, but their movie comes out this year as well.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them either.
We're getting a Hawkeye series where Clint is going to be training Kate Bishop, which is the female Hawkeye. So we have a new Hawkeye coming. We have Miss Marvel.
Is that his daughter? Or no?
No, different person.
Okay.
Okay. We have the Miss Marvel series, which I'm really looking forward to because
that's gonna just fuck me up because I'm already mixing up Captain Marvel's name with Miss Marvel.
Well,
so whenever they introduce her, I'm gonna just die.
Well, they announced last week or was it last week or the week before what Captain Marvel 2 is called? Do you know what it's called? It's the Marvels. The Marvels. It's going to be Captain Marvel. It's going to be Miss Marvel, who's going to be in that movie, and somebody else. Who's the other one?
Are they related?
The Marvels. Who's the other one?
Meet the Marvels.
Monica Rambeau. Oh, you don't know who that is. Yes, you do. You watch Captain America. Or you watch Captain Marvel. What is Monica the child?
Which one?
the daughter in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Is her name Monica?
Maybe there was a lot going on.
There's Captain Marvel's partner, like the one she flew planes with, and
when she was flying planes and still human.
I think the daughter's name is Monica, and she is important in WandaVision, which you'll find out soon. So she's in WandaVision. Okay. She's going to be in the Marvels. So it's Captain America, Miss Marvel, and I think Monica Rambeau.
Okay.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. There's all this kind of mania coming up. We got Multiverse of Madness. We got Quantumania. We could have Spider-Verse. We got Loki fucking things up. There's so much to look forward to because I don't know. It's so exciting. Guardians of Volume 3. Fantastic Four was just announced. And then Thor: Love and Thunder. Which we could see Lady Thor.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen with Thor.
No idea.
All right.
So much to look forward to in the MCU.
That is what I have been up to. A whole lot. 2 games, 1 anime, and 3 movies.
I have not been up to anywhere near as much. Been playing a lot of Apex Legends. The new season dropped last week. Season 9, I think we're on. The new character is really great. I'm kind of maining her at the moment, Valkyrie. She, high mobility kind of character, as a jetpack recon character. If you care about Apex Legends at all, she's fun to play. So playing a lot of Apex Legends. They also just introduced the new Arenas mode to complement the Battle Royale mode. Arenas is basically a tactical shooter.
I did play that.
It's basically a tactical shooter like what's the one? Counter-Strike or Valorant even. Except it's in obviously the style of Apex Legends where it's like the maps are a lot bigger, but they kind of have to be because of the way that movement works in that game. Like, you can't have these characters.
There are still rings.
Oh yeah. But it's the same way that Counter-Strike or Valorant works, where you basically purchase equipment before the round starts. And then as you get kills and stuff, you can unlock more money to buy better gear and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it's a fun mode. I don't know how I feel about the season pass, the battle pass, because the challenges, like, they mix in both the arena and battle royale stuff. So like some days I don't want to play arenas, but I kind of feel like I have to fulfill the battle pass, like to get the dailies, right? To get the dailies done. There are ways to like re-roll the challenges, and it actually lets you select if you don't want to do an arena. When you re-roll a challenge, it lets you pick between battle royale or arena. So there are ways to not do it, but you only get one of those rerolls a day for free. And then if you get like 4 challenges, you have to start paying for the other rerolls with currency.
That sucks.
So yeah, it's kind of annoying, but the mode's really fun as long as the teams are balanced. There are several games where like either I get somebody that just leaves right away and then it's 2v3 and it's so hard to beat like a 2v3 like that unless the other team is like mismatched from a skill perspective.
Sure.
But for the most part, like the match has been relatively balanced. So that's been fun. Really, I'm just waiting for tomorrow when Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes out. Have that pre-ordered.
Oh boy.
It is ready to go. Getting to restart the odyssey that is Mass Effect tomorrow evening. That will be something I've been looking forward to for a long time.
Do you think, because as we've talked about, I have a very long backlog. Do you think that the Mass Effect Legendary version will be at least half off by Black Friday?
It'll definitely be on sale. I don't know if it'll be half off, but it'll definitely be on sale for sure.
Okay.
Because EA discounts their games relatively quickly. They're not like Nintendo or I'm trying to think what
Nintendo.
They're not as quick as Ubisoft. Like Ubisoft will discount their games like a week later.
Sure.
Like Assassin's Creed comes out in
Phoenix Rising or whatever was like $40 3 days after it launched.
Right. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out in I think late October, and by Black Friday a month later it was already $10 off or something, like 10% off.
Sure.
So I would think by Black Friday for sure you can get Mass Effect for pretty cheap.
Okay, because the two things that I want are to get your review of it, because I tried playing the first one back in the day and just couldn't get into it. So if you think that it's going to hook me better this time, that's thing number one. But thing number two is that I just, again, have such a big backlog. There's like 40 games on it that between now and Black Friday, I could probably clear a lot of. So if it's going to be half off, I might as well just wait, because there's no reason to push myself if I'm still going to play it this calendar year. Like, sure. It could still be on Game of the Year discussion. So
yeah, I'm and it depends on how deep you want to play those games. Like if you mainline through the story and don't do as much side mission stuff, you could probably beat all 3 of them in less than 100 hours for sure. I would say maybe if you truly mainline them, probably 60 hours, like 20 hours a game maybe. Not but bad. You know, with BioWare games, yeah, especially with the crew stories and some of the side stories, I get sucked in. I don't think I'm gonna play them all straight, because there are some games coming out that I want to play in between. So I'm planning to play Mass Effect 1, and then by the time I'm done with Mass Effect 1, I think Ratchet and Clank will be out. So I'll play Ratchet and Clank and then go on to 2 after that.
Okay.
So it's probably going to take me most of the summer to beat those games, but I'm excited to get started tomorrow. The other thing is I'm super excited for the trophies, because Mass Effect, especially Mass Effect 1, had a fucking terrible trophy list where you basically needed to beat the game 5 times, I think. At least 4 times.
This is because of the Paragon stuff, right?
So
where,
you
had
to
be evil or good and
so,
make different choices.
Yeah, so you had to... There were a couple different levels to it. So you had to completely max out Paragon in one playthrough. You had to completely max out Renegade in the other playthrough.
Yes.
There were also trophies to complete. It was the literal trophy text was complete most of the game with a certain squad member. And there are 6 squad members, which basically means to complete most of the game with each character, you needed to do 3 playthroughs and only main with 2 squad members for each one.
That's stupid.
Which is really stupid. Then on top of that, there are I think 2 difficulty levels. So you start off, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong on the YouTube comments.
Who,
but
me?
You have easy, normal, hard.
Actually, it's baby, average, and fuck off.
Sure. Then once you beat it once you beat it the first time, you unlock super
spicy
hard.
Mode.
Yeah, spicy. You unlock spicy. And then when you beat it on spicy, you unlock the super just I'm gonna kill you difficulty level, basically. And insanity, mode. I think is what's called insanity. And so then you had to beat the game on insanity. So there were like all of these different things you had to keep track of. On top of that, you had to use different moves. Like there were like, you had to get so many kills with each weapon. You had to get so many kills with each, like if you were a biotic, there's a magic kind of, a technomancy sort of magic that you can use with biotic fields. Okay. So if you go that path, you have to use so many of those skills every time. It was just a terrible trophy list. Terrible.
Sure. This sounds like hell. Yeah, I don't like it.
For the trilogy, first of all, there are 3 platinum trophies, 1 for each game, which is great. They've dumbed down all of the difficult trophies. It looks like you might even be able to get the platinum in 1 playthrough on each one. And then in the weirdest turn of events, and I think this is the first game that's ever done this, there is a separate trophy list for the entire collection. I know the Master Chief Collection did this on Xbox, but I don't think this has been done on PlayStation before. There is like a set of trophies that are tied to the trilogy, but have no bearing on any platinum trophy. So basically they're just optional trophies you can get. Okay. And they don't tie into a 4th platinum or anything. So you don't, like, at least me as a trophy hunter, I'm not going to feel compelled to go get them.
So there's Mass Effect 1 trophy list, Mass Effect 2 trophy list, Mass Effect 3 trophy list. There are additional trophies that pertain to the entire trilogy, but no platinums tied to them.
Yeah, so it's like complete 1 game on Insanity difficulty, complete 2 games on Insanity difficulty, complete 3 games on Insanity difficulty, romance a character in each game. Like they're basically you have to do something in each game to get each one.
Yeah,
but they're the harder ones to do. So I'm really happy with how they did that. I'm glad that they're not going to make me replay Mass Effect 6 times or whatever just to get the trophies for it. But
yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. It looks like so reviews still have not come out. I mean, here's the thing with reviews for Mass Effect, like it's not going to be any, like it could only be better. I don't think there's a world where they release this and it would review worse. Like, the only thing they're doing is improving, unless it's somehow just completely fucked. Basically, they didn't release review codes until Monday, and I don't think anybody's putting up a review because you can't beat 3 Mass Effect games in a week. So reviews have not been up yet. But like, this is not going to be a Cyberpunk situation because we already know what the games are like. So, yeah.
All right.
I think that's it from the gaming side. I did watch an anime, and I don't know if I want to recommend it or not. I watched Yasuke on Netflix.
Yasuke.
Have you seen?
I don't think I've heard of that.
It's new-ish. It came out this year, I think. It is from... I'm going to forget the guy's name.
I think I might have seen some of this. Is it...
So it's about Yasuke, the samurai, like the historical figure. If you don't know who Yasuke is, Yasuke was probably the first African to ever visit Japan. I say visit Japan; he lived in Japan. He was basically he was a missionary. He was on a mission to go to Japan to do Christian stuff.
Sure, I've heard of this anime.
Sure, and Oda Nobunaga, who was the daimyo at the time, I don't know, he's a huge figure in Japanese history. He like united Japan under a single banner. But Oda Nobunaga saw Yasuke and was like, this guy is interesting looking. I want to like make him part of my army. And then he made him the first non-Japanese samurai, basically. Yeah. And so they made an anime about him. He's a really popular figure. Like Yasuke's like somebody that is brought up a lot in terms of Japanese history. But they made an anime about him. And I think it came out this year. Yeah, April. It came out literally like a week ago. If you watched any of the trailers for Yasuke, you would probably think that it was a historical anime. Because it's about Yasuke. And like the trailer looked like a kind of historical anime trailer. There were a couple things in there that were like, they looked sort of mystical, but
sure,
it's Japan,
which would have been okay,
right?
Yeah.
But it's Japan, and like everything's mystical, so it's like that could have just been, who knows what that was in the trailer. But then you get into the show, and in the opening cutscene, not cutscene, it's a fucking show. At the opening scene, not cutscene scene, there's two armies fighting each other. There's straight up magic, which, okay, fine. There are also mechs fighting in like 1600 Japan. There's magic and mechs in this world with Yasuke. It's and like there's nothing in the marketing material to like indicate that this is an alternate universe. Yeah. I was expecting historical anime, and I got a technology meets magic alternate history. And like that by itself probably would have been okay, maybe, if the show wasn't so rushed. It's 6 episodes long. Each episode is a full 30 minutes. They don't really do... I guess the other thing is this is... let me open the thing. So
Is it a Netflix original or?
It is a Netflix original. The animation was done by MAPPA, which is an animation studio. They did really recently. Like they did Jujutsu Kaisen recently. They did the most recent season of Attack on Titan, Eerie on Ice. They're like a major animation studio.
They're well known.
Yes.
They have a catalog.
But it was written and directed by LaShawn Thomas, who is an American storyteller, I guess. Like he's worked on he was like he was a big piece of the Boondocks, like the Comedy Central or Adult Swim, the Boondocks. He worked on, I think, Legend of Korra and some other series, but it was like created by him, animated by a Japanese animation studio. It's an anime. Obviously, it was done by an anime studio. It's interesting though because like it's not dubbed. Like it is an English. It's meant to be watched.
English was the
English.
original language,
yes,
not Japanese translated to English.
Right, exactly.
So
like,
if there was a Japanese audio, that would be the dub.
There is, and yeah, it is a dub because the lip flaps are all English lip flaps, and so like, it's weird to watch it in Japanese. So that's kind of weird too. But it's just so rushed that there's like so much that happens in the first 3 episodes, and I actually thought the first 3 episodes, had they just taken those 3 episodes and stretched it out, would have been like fine. That would have been good. The second 3 episodes though, it gets kind of stupid. There are way too many characters that are introduced. It goes from like having this sort of like defined group of antagonists, and then at the end of episode 3, they just all kind of like go their separate ways, and it's like, oh, I guess no one really cares anymore. And then they bring in an entire new antagonist. And then they introduce like a monster of the week for the last 3 episodes.
Excellent.
It's so weird. It's worth watching. Like the animation is pretty good, and the plot itself is like entertaining enough. It's just, there's way too much happening in it. And the other thing is like I can kind of like pull out exact references to other animations. Like at one point they just straight up go to the spirit world from Avatar and the Legend of Korra. Okay. They just go to the spirit world and they call it something else. I think they call it the astral plane or something.
Sure, as one does.
It's straight up just the spirit world from Avatar. And it's like, it took Avatar 4 seasons to get to the spirit world. Like, it took them from, like, the entire Avatar, The Last Airbender, and through 1 season of Legend of Korra before they felt confident enough to introduce the spirit world in season 2 of Korra. And they just went to it in episode 4, and it made no sense.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, is that Hanzo's voice actor plays a main character. So maybe you want to watch it for Hanzo's voice actor. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm being really negative about it. It was a fun watch, but it's not a like critically good watch. It's like a guilty pleasure kind of watch.
It's like popcorn.
Sure. But yeah, if you're going to Yasuke thinking it's going to be like historically accurate, it's funny though, because they do have historically accurate pieces. Like Yasuke as a character is pretty accurate-ish. They have like Nobunaga's in it for a bit, and he's pretty accurate. They display like the relationship that he had with one of his, like his, I forget what they call it. There's like there were homosexual relationships, and, but it was like in the same way that like the relationships between like Spartans, it's like the same kind of thing.
Okay.
But they had that whole, like, that was a storyline, and it was kind of, like, historically accurate. But then they just bring in mechs out of nowhere, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, if you throw in mechs and magic, you're...
And, like, I could have taken either one of those. Like, I could have taken, like, let's bring the Yasuke, let's bring the idea of the Legend of Yasuke and bring it into, like, an Evangelion future and have mechs. And it's like, great. I can wrap my head around that. Or you take Yasuke and you make it a fantasy and you have magic in it. But when you combine magic and mechs, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
There's too much going on.
There's lines you cannot cross, and that is one of them.
So that was interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it to everybody. It's definitely got like a lot of style. The OP is pretty great. But other than that, I guess it's worth 3 hours of your time. Maybe.
All right, fair enough. Someday.
I think that's been about it on my side, though. So let's get into this week's topic of the show, which is a review of our predictions from this year. We're going to do two things, John. First, we're going to check in on our 2021 predictions. And we're going to play a game. A spur of the moment game.
I don't know if I like that.
And then after we're done with that, we're going to make some more predictions based on the knowledge we have. However, there's a twist on that part too. There's twists. God. So many twists. So let's start with our 2021 predictions. What I want to do is we're going to go through these predictions. I'm going to allow you to change your prediction if you want to. However, if you choose to change your prediction, it can only be worth half of the full credit when we do the prediction.
So basically, if you know that something's not happening, this is a chance to get partial credit.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to. Like there could be a way out of left field thing that happens on December 30th, and it proves your original prediction true. But if you decide to change it now, you could only get half credit. So, we're going to start at the top. We have PlayStation predictions, Xbox predictions, Nintendo predictions, third party / indie predictions, and miscellaneous predictions. We'll go back and forth. I'll start. Do you have the sheet pulled up? I can read it as well. I'm going to read it as well.
I have my sheet pulled up, but I can't find the one that's shared.
So we're going... You're not shared with you? Let me share. No, it's shared with you. It's the QTE archive.
Why is that not...
I don't know.
Why is that not here? Oh, there it is. Okay, found it.
Okay.
We good.
So let's start with PlayStation. John, your first prediction was Gravity Rush 3 will be announced. However, there will be no major details.
Oh, yeah, let's get rid of that one.
Obviously,
the studio got shut down instead.
Studio Japan did get shut down back in February, I think. It was a while ago at this point. Very, very slim chance that Gravity Rush 3. Wouldn't that just be a kick in the teeth? You know what? We're going to close down. We're going to close down Studio Japan, but you know what Naughty Dog's working on next? Gravity Rush 3, the Naughty Dog version.
Shit, here's the problem though. I have to fill this with another prediction.
You do, and it's like spur of the moment thing. Like you only have so much time to figure out what it is. No thinking, just go. Or little thinking.
Let's see.
And you can ask, like, if you want to ask a question, like, we can talk about these as we go.
I'm going to ask questions, yes. Do we have any information on 2 questions? Square Enix, they announced Final Fantasy VII Remake on their own platform, or they announced it on PlayStation stage?
They announced Final Fantasy VII Remake at PSX in 2015, I think. 2015 or 2016. So it was on PlayStation stage.
Is there a PSX this year?
There hasn't been a PSX since 2018 maybe. It's been a few years. They stopped doing it for whatever reason.
Okay. I guess I'll swap this with Square Enix being at whatever PlayStation is going to, whatever major thing PlayStation's going to be at next, and maybe giving us info on part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Do we know anything about that yet?
We do not.
Okay. I'm not saying that they're going to give us a release date or anything. I'm just going to say that they'll be there to talk about it.
To talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake in particular?
Remake part 2. Or just the remake in general and some kind of update on the direction that they're taking. Maybe just a little check-in, a little progress update.
I'm pretty confident that you will at least get partial credit on that one.
Excellent. So I will get 1/8 of a point because it's already cut in half.
Sure. Yeah. So you'll get 25% probably, because I think they'll definitely be at the next show, or they'll be at something this year.
Yes.
I hope that we get more about part 2. But they're absolutely going to show more of Final Fantasy 16 at some point this year, which is a PlayStation exclusive game. So I'm very confident they'll show Final Fantasy 16. Part 2 of Final Fantasy 7, I'm not sure, but I can hope. I hope that one's crossed. True. My first one was that Sony acquires a major new Japanese studio or publisher. From Software and Kojima Productions top the list. Sega would be the pipe dream. I think I'm gonna leave this one.
You son of a bitch.
I think that the longer we go on, Sega becomes more and more off the table, because Sega seems to be aligning themselves more with Microsoft.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's very weird.
They want to have like same day launches, cross platform.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, so with the Persona stuff that came out from I forget, it was Sega Sammy thing, but they basically said that they want to have more worldwide releases on as many platforms as possible, and they specifically cited the Yakuza and the Persona series for that. I still am kind of like, I'm in denial, I think, about Persona coming to other platforms. I think that it's definitely a possibility of Fez making it to Steam. Maybe even Persona 5 on Steam. I know how much PlayStation values that, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what PlayStation values, it's what Sega values.
Yeah.
I don't know. Knowing the way that Atlas operates, and I just have a hard time seeing that ever coming to fruition. However, there's also the thing where Kojima's supposedly in talks with Microsoft too.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know that I doubt that they're acquiring from Software this year. So I don't think it's going to be From Software. At this point, I doubt it's going to be Kojima Productions, and Sega is pretty much off the table too. So in regards to that, I don't think it's going to be anything I said there, but I do think it's still not off the table for them to acquire a new studio in Japan. I don't know what studio it is, but I'm going to hold out there. John's second prediction was that,
how are we notating that these were changed?
Put it in parentheses, that partial, like I just did there.
Okay.
So John, originally his prediction was that PlayStation's stock issues would be resolved by the summertime. That's clearly not going to happen for anybody. Nope. Xbox is still having everybody is having problems. If you have a microchip in your product, you are having problems with your supply right now.
Yes.
So is that your new prediction?
What?
Or what's you?
I'm changing it.
Okay.
I am not leaving it that we're magically suddenly going to be having no stock issues by summer. I guess what I'm going to make it is that we will have I hesitate to use this word, but PlayStation's answer to Game Pass. But specifically, I don't know how to phrase this, but PlayStation will do something with Epic. Is it Epic that they just invested a shit ton of money into? We're going to see something come out of that probably around E3, or if PlayStation does their own thing, which will be a combined effort to be an answer to Game Pass, especially Game Pass with EA Play. I think that they're going to, like, their partnership is going to be focused around that.
Okay. That's interesting.
It's better than stock issues.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just don't know how to phrase it, but, like, I don't know. Microsoft and EA are doing their thing, and, like, PlayStation and Epic are kind of doing their thing, and it feels like they have to answer what's going on over in Microsoft's court.
Yeah. I think that something is coming out of this. It's not just Unreal Engine. I think that there are balls in play between Epic and PlayStation. I don't, at the end of the day, know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw this, but recently, out of the Apple trial, there were documents that showed that Epic was trying to pay PlayStation an ungodly amount of money to get their first-party games on the Epic Game Store.
Oh, I did see that. Didn't they want a first-party, like, they wanted first-party games from everybody, including Nintendo, which was like,
yeah,
good fucking luck.
Right. And I don't know, I didn't read that document in depth, but I saw a figure for PlayStation's games in particular. And, like, I wonder if like maybe Epic starts to bring, like, the free games that are on the Epic Game Store to PlayStation. Like,
maybe
that could be, I don't know. There's a lot that could happen. But
they might just mimic what Xbox basically did with EA Play, where they're kind of combining the services into one. Where it's like, okay, you have PlayStation Now, and since you have PlayStation Now, you're also getting whatever Epic is offering too.
That could be interesting.
Some kind of partnership between the two that'll be way more clear and actually, like, explained instead of just weird little, okay, we're going to give you $200 million. What for? We'll see.
I am definitely keeping my second prediction, which is that the PSVR 2 is announced.
You don't want to change that?
It was already announced. Unfortunately, it was not fully wireless. However, they are featuring new controllers that utilize the DualSense haptic feedback. So I already got 66% of that prediction. There's no reason for me to change it, so I can get less than that. So definitely
change it so that there will be one wire and get half of that 1/3.
I'm not going that deep. All
right.
So I'm keeping that one. John's third prediction was that there's going to be some old mascot game that gets a reboot.
I'm leaving it. I can't think of something else.
And I think that there's still pretty good possibility with that.
Yeah.
It was just announced a couple days ago that there are 25 first-party productions currently. Or sorry, there are 25 first-party games being produced right now, and half of them are new IP, which means the other half are not new IP.
12 of them give me a chance.
Yeah. You got a 1/2 chance that they're bringing something back.
Do you know how fucking pissed I'm going to be if it's... I mean, I'll be ecstatic, but how pissed for this I'll be if it's Gravity Rush 3.
You know what? If it's Gravity Rush 3, I will give you like a third of that point.
All right.
If we get a Gravity Rush 3 literally announced in the same year that they closed Studio Japan, I will give you a third of that point. At least. My
Appreciate
final
that.
prediction was that the new PlayStation Now...
Did you change my middle prediction or
no? I didn't. It was too complicated. I didn't want to put words in your mouth. My third prediction is new PlayStation Now features will be implemented to help compete with Game Pass and other services. Expanded catalog of games and possibly some day one releases. So I also had a prediction about competing with Game Pass. And it's through utilizing PlayStation Now. As time goes on, I kind of feel like they're going to replace PlayStation Now. I don't think that they would... I don't know. I almost feel like they're going to shut down PlayStation Now and create something new. I feel more confidently about that. But at this point, I think I'm just going to leave that one too.
That's fair.
Moving on to Xbox. John's first prediction was that Halo Infinite is going to have a very different direction than I assume what was shown at E3 2020. Or not E3 2020, but...
I still 100% believe that is going to be the case.
I mean, you see,
there's not going to be Craig anymore.
No more Craig. Craig's gone. Bye, Craig.
Long live Craig.
I still don't... They are so confident that that thing is coming out this year.
I still think it is. I still think it is. At this point, if they're telling me it's coming out, then, like, I'll believe them.
It's just that there were so many, like, stories... There was that story that Jason Schreier broke last week about that former 343 dev that was talking about the crunch. And like there have been other people that have corroborated crunch within 343. And they've basically said that they've had to change like everything. So I think your prediction is 100% right. I don't know. Like, I don't know how they sustain it. I don't know if that works in a year.
Sure.
My first prediction is that we're finally getting Starfield. It will be very similar to Fallout 4's release. Announced or leaked around E3 time and released in the fall. I'm not confident about this because every rumor I've heard about Xbox first-party games is that there's nothing. There's nothing coming out in the next 5 years, aside from Halo Infinite. Like, Perfect Dark is 5 years off. Elder Scrolls and Starfield are still 5 years off. I don't know what to replace it with, though. All right, let's see. Finally getting Starfield. I feel like there's no way we're getting Starfield. So let's change it. Is there another Bethesda studio doing something interesting? What is Machine Games working on right now? Probably still too early. They put out Wolfenstein Youngblood last year, I think. So it's probably too early for them.
Wolfenstein Middle-Aged Blood.
Yeah. Wolfenstein, the college years. Oh, man.
It's hard.
What else is Xbox doing? What else is... I guess... Okay, here's some...
fucking new.
They're going to buy somebody else this year. They're not done with their fucking conquest of the games industry.
Nope.
So let's put on this list.
Who are they going to buy?
I don't know that I want to name an actual studio. So I'm going to put that Xbox will acquire at least one more studio this year. What's part of their portfolio that's missing? Right now they have so many fucking RPGs. They don't need another RPG.
No.
They have shooters, they have Halo, and they have Gears of War. It's Japan. They're missing Japan. They're missing the Japanese market. God,
maybe they'll hire all the developers from Studio Japan and they'll make Gravity Rush 3. But they'll call it something else so that they can get away with it.
How about this? Xbox will acquire at least one more studio this year.
Fast falls.
With a major push for the Japanese games market. So that can work for me two ways. Either they acquire somebody and it's a Japanese developer, or they don't acquire somebody and they just like bring Kojima on as a kind of thing.
That's a good way to go about it.
All right. John's second prediction was that more Fable info will come with a release announced for spring 2022.
Gonna stand by it? Question mark. The only thing I'm really concerned about is that spring 2022 at this point.
Yeah.
Because if they aren't doing anything.
Because last year, like all we got
on the docket.
Literally all we got last year was that little teaser trailer of a fairy getting farted on by a frog or something. I can't remember what happened, but there was not anything substantial.
Here's the thing. I think we are going to get more info.
Yeah.
So as it is, if I change it, I would have to get the entire thing right to get the credit that I think I'll already get.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna fuck with it.
Makes sense.
Because I would change it. I would change the year, but then I would have to get everything spot on to get the credit that I'm probably already gonna get anyways.
Yeah.
So leave it as is. Let it ride. Spin for the dollar.
My second prediction is that Halo Infinite's development continues to be turbulent, leading to one more delay out of fall 2021. I think, like you, I'm also keeping it because I think it's been confirmed at this point that it's been turbulent as hell.
Basically, yeah.
So even if I get the date wrong and it doesn't come out, or it does come out this fall, I'm still going to get more credit.
You're still going to get more. Yeah, you're better off now.
So I'll leave that one. John's last prediction.
I was very vague on this list.
Please let someone do something with Banjo-Kazooie. Literally, all that has to happen for that prediction to come true is that Banjo's fucking bare ass shows up in some game this year. Or not even a game, anything. Literally anything. Could be a TV show. Could be a mobile game.
The only reason... So this is obviously... While it is very vague, it is also probably the longest shot. The only reason I'm willing to leave it as is because obviously they have Rare. But they've been like... kind of chummy with Nintendo recently, which is where Banjo-Kazooie started. So I'm not saying that they're gonna suddenly be like, okay, Rare, make a Banjo-Kazooie game again, and like we'll let Nintendo have it too. But at least all the players are talking. So if it's gonna happen, now is the time.
Checks out.
It's either now or never.
My last prediction is that Xbox will formally backtrack from their plan to keep the Xbox One forwards compatible with their major AAA releases. If they don't do this, we will see the Xbox One version of these games get reviewed significantly lower. I'm of two minds on this one. The first is that I do think that they're going to backtrack on it. However, they're going to get around it by releasing only the xCloud version on the last gen console.
Okay.
So, like, even if it sucks, like, there's not going to be... It's still going to run as long as you're using xCloud, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know that changing my prediction will help me in the points realm with that.
Probably not. Yeah,
so
you're
I
probably
think
better off just leaving it.
Yeah, I think I'll leave that. But I do think that I think that they're definitely not going to say it. They're not going to come out and be like, "Hey guys, sorry, we're not bringing our games to Xbox One anymore." I think it's going to be more like, "Hey, this game is going to run great on the Xbox One using xCloud."
Sure. Yeah, they'll put a positive spin on it.
Sure. Let's move on to Nintendo. John's first prediction is that Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will release this fall.
Leaving it.
Leaving it. Leaving it, he says.
It's probably not happening, but
you gotta believe.
Actually, son of a bitch, I don't know.
You gotta believe. You gotta believe. You gotta will it into existence.
It's either gonna be fall or maybe at this point it's gonna be spring of next year. We're gonna find out in literally a month.
Yeah, we are.
Because I think that info is going to be revealed at E3.
It has to be.
Yeah.
They have to have it.
It's the 35th anniversary of Zelda. It's one of their like big 3 franchises. It's just, is it going to be fall this year? Are they really going to be able to push and make it happen? And it really depends, because if they just utilize the same engine that Breath of the Wild 1 was on, it should be realistic, I think. I'm just gonna leave it.
My first is that Nintendo will continue to dole out small, highly focused directs. The full direct format is officially dead. Well, it wasn't, because literally like a month after we did these predictions, they had a full-length direct. Their first in a year and a half. Have they had anything since then? They had a Nindy World Showcase.
Yeah, they had an Indies, but that was it, I think.
They haven't done any of the...
They haven't focused.
Yeah, they haven't done any of the Nintendo Direct Minis lately.
I fully expected a Zelda Mini at some point in the last 2 months, but here we are.
So, on one hand, half of this prediction is already bad. On the other hand, it's not necessarily wrong that they've... because this is kind of the same formula they had last year, where they didn't have anything for the first half of the year, and then they had like a mini direct. And then they're
going to come out of fucking nowhere and be like, hey, every month we're going to give you a focused mini direct. Yeah.
So I don't necessarily want to change my prediction, because I feel like the second half could still come true. Even though the second half is totally dead.
Sure.
I'm going to leave my first one as well. I think they're going to do after E3, I think we're going to get a blowout at E3, and then we're going to get like a September and October and a November mini direct.
Yeah.
John's second prediction for Nintendo was much better Zelda anniversary stuff than Mario. HD anniversary game with Wind Waker
HD, Twilight Princess HD, and Skyward Sword HD. I don't think I can change it because I'm already at like a third. I'm either at a quarter or a third, depending on how you view it.
All right, so
Zelda anniversary stuff is, I'd say right now, running about as smoothly as the Mario anniversary stuff, where there's no fanfare and there's no celebration.
Right. I would say that there are less games right now announced for Zelda, because all we have right now is Skyward Sword, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know if this is something we should factor or not. Skyward Sword is not going to have a stupid limited release for the sake of pissing people off.
But Mario also got a Paper Mario game last year.
Oh, that wasn't for Mario.
And he got like Mario 35. They didn't announce the Zelda one yet, right?
No.
I still think there's time for that second part to come true.
Yeah. And we do have Skyward Sword HD coming. So like that's why I'm saying I would give myself 1 quarter right now.
Yeah, I would say 25
if we see Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, which there are rumors that they're going to be announced after Skyward Sword. Maybe Skyward Sword comes out after, is it June or July? I
think it's July.
Now. Okay. Then maybe we're still going to get a Zelda like mini direct, help you out, where we get the announcement of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
I think I
think I'm better off leaving it.
Yeah. My last prediction is that other than Pokemon Snap, we will see another new major Pokemon game release, either a new generation or a Let's Go Pikachu Eevee style game. I got something right. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the percentage is, because it was not a Let's Go game. It was not a new generation either. It's a remake of Diamond and Pearl.
But we also got that Legends announcement, remember?
Oh, fuck, yeah, we did. Well,
so I don't...
No, game release.
That's not new... That's...
I said a new game was going to release. Arceus is definitely not coming out this year.
Oh, that's right.
So, Brilliant, Diamond, and Shiny Pearl, or whatever the fuck they're called, those are coming out this year, which I would say that's a major new Pokemon game release.
Yes.
So I guess I'll leave that. I already got half of the point, I guess.
You skipped your middle one, I think.
Oh, did I? Oh, I did.
Yeah,
we'll go back to that.
We haven't gone over mine yet, and we've been going mine.
Your last one was Pokemon Remaster of Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl. You already got that one right, so there's nothing to do there. My third one was Zelda 35 will feature a remaster collection a la Mario 3D All-Stars and a Tetris 99 style game. Breath of the Wild 2 will not be released in the calendar year. I'm right on the second half of it. That first half, though,
maybe
could still happen, I guess. It's not going to have a collection.
No.
But there could be a Tetris 99 style game still coming. We don't know.
Once they get tired of Pac-Man. He's the current one, right?
I think so, yeah.
He's the current
whore
of Nintendo.
Right. What other series could we turn into have they done Donkey Kong yet? That'll for sure be one.
Oh, yeah. No, they haven't. And that will definitely be one. It has to. It's Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary.
Oh, God. What are you doing, Nintendo? Come on. All right. I'm leaving that one, too. All right. Moving on to third party and indies. John's first prediction was that Silk Song will get a release date for October 2021.
I'm still holding on.
Holding on for that one?
Stubbornly have to hold on to that one. It's a 3-man team. Come on.
Yeah. Wasn't it that
don't you
Nintendo?
live in like one of the countries that was able to open up like 3 months ago because they handled the pandemic way better?
I thought for sure it was going to be at that Indie World Showcase for Nintendo.
Oh, so did I.
Nope. My first one is that From Software will finally give us Elden Ring in the second half of 2021.
Oh boy, you holding on to hope?
So with this prediction, Elden Ring, for me to get any points, Elden Ring has to come out this year, right? Are you reading that way?
I guess. I think you'd get credit if they just gave us info. Because it's been how long?
It's been so long. From Software will finally give us Elden Ring in the I guess I didn't specify what they're going to give us from Elden Ring.
I don't think that you, and we could go back and listen to it for sure, but the way that I would interpret it is that you just meant that they'll give us something, not necessarily a release of this game that's been talked about for
No, you know what? I know that I think I said it was going to come out this year.
Okay.
I don't think it can come out this year.
Just flip it. From Software will not give us Elden Ring at all in 2021.
Yeah. Oh no, wait, go back.
How pissed are you going to be if they come out of nowhere and they're like, hey, you know what?
I'm trying to figure out. Is there a better, because I don't flip it just completely. How do I say this? How do I write this so I get something? How about From Software will give us more information about Elden Ring this year.
Perfect.
That way, I mean, the game could come out, and that, you know what, that's more information.
That is more information. You have the code now.
Yeah. There you go. We're going to learn more about Elden Ring this year. John's second prediction was Deltarune Chapter 2 will come out.
Man, I follow Toby Fox on Twitter now, and like I try to keep up, and he's said that he is working on it. But that's basically all that I know. I think I'm going to leave it just because I don't want to change it.
My second prediction was a self-indulgent prediction. Persona 25. Atlus will continue their re-releases by expanding Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3's footprint. If we're all good boys and girls, we'll see a remaster of Persona 3 and the first mention or teaser for Persona 6. I think I'm leaving this one. Atlus does this really fucking annoying thing where they only talk about one thing at a time.
Yep.
They refuse to talk about multiple things at a time. Like, I first noticed this when they were re-releasing Catherine. And it was like, Catherine Full Bodied is coming to Switch and all this other stuff. And they only talked about that, even though like new info was dropping pretty regularly for Persona 5 Royal, and they only talked about Catherine up until release. Then they did the same thing with Persona. They did the same thing with 13 Sentinels, I guess Rim, and now they're doing the same thing with Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remastered. Like they talk about one thing and that's it. They don't mix up their marketing. So once Shin Megami Tensei 3 launches next month, or this month, I think it actually is end of this month, they'll have nothing to talk about. Yeah, they have nothing else. I don't think there's anything else that we know for them to talk about, except for them to come out at E3 and do a Persona blowout. Be like, okay, here you go. Persona 4 Golden is coming to PS4. Maybe other consoles. Maybe. Persona 3 Fez is getting a Steam release. And then maybe we'll get a something for Persona 6. I'm leaving that one. John's last prediction for the third parties is that Fall Guys Xbox launch will be with a Master Chief skin.
I think I have to leave it because I think that they confirmed that Fall Guys is coming to Xbox. So like,
it's
I'm
delayed.
Already at 50%.
Yeah, actually, Fall Guys the season 4.5 patch dropped this week. There is now
name it like Todd or something,
or
Dave.
Probably. I didn't look that much into it. I did see though that I didn't read the patch notes, but I saw the write up of the patch notes, which is that there is now crossplay between PS4 and Steam. However, there are currently not lobbies. There are currently not cross-party systems. So you can't team up yet. That is coming, but it's not available yet.
Sure.
So there is cross-play. There's just not, you can't do parties across. They also now have private lobbies for everybody, which is awesome. Ooh. That might be something we could maybe do during the Extra Life reward stream in a couple weeks. Just have like a party or a lobby of just like us. It'd be interesting to like play some of those levels with just like 10 people.
With a small amount,
like do Slime Climb with like 4 people.
Is this gonna? Or I wonder if people are gonna be able to really just cheese those that one trophy now of getting 3 crowns in a row or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Crowns from private lobbies?
I doubt it.
But I don't think it was crowns. I think it was win 3 episodes in a row. And that was it.
You know what? You're right. Depends on how the trophy's coded, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Might have to go back to Fall Guys and do a little bit of trophy farming.
Get a really impressive
hit up the old PlayStation profiles forums and find some partners to go cheese some trophies. I'll do that.
Take a Saturday.
Yeah. It'll literally take like, how long is like an episode's only?
Yeah. If
it's 4 people, it's just,
if everybody whiffs it and just like,
I'm sure they're. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm sure because they're still, they have Epic's money now, but they're not like, I don't know that was high on their priority list, like managing trophies. So we'll see, I guess.
We shall see.
My final prediction is that Cyberpunk 2077 will receive a Witcher Enhanced Edition re-release, along with the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions in the fall. The first few DLCs will be made free to all players. Keeping that one. I think that they'll. I have a feeling they're going to stay quiet now until September.
As they should.
Which they should. And then they can announce the Series X and PS5 versions. They'll launch those in November. And they'll try to win hearts and minds.
And wallets.
Yeah. Last category, miscellaneous. John's first prediction is that Marvel is going to announce its next main phase for movies. I think you got that one. They did it like 2 weeks ago.
Did they?
Yeah, they showed off, Shang-Chi. You got Black Widow and the Eternals and the Marvels.
Back to the start of this,
yeah. You did it.
I did it. Just in time.
My first is the Game Awards 2021 will be the most anticipated event of the year for games. It will be the first it will be in person and will have huge announcements to celebrate a return to normalcy. I think that still checks out. We've got confirmation that E3 is digital.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Gamescom is at this point confirmed to be digital. I don't think there's another major, especially not North America, there's not another major thing happening. PAX is on hold. Or actually, I think that was PAX the one. I think PAX was planning to do something in person around Thanksgiving, but they've recently canceled it. I thought.
Maybe.
I don't know. I still think that...
I think this is the safest bet, though.
Yeah. Keeping it. John's second one is that lots of Twitch legal stuff is coming. Some things even from the government, ?
I'm just going to leave it.
Who knows?
Like, they had... I assume that something is being worked on in the background with Twitch. Because they had, what's their name, perform, and then had to mute the audio. Like, has that so not been addressed internally?
I don't know.
Something's gonna happen for sure. Plus, I don't want to have to think of another thing.
On the same kind of wavelength, my second one was that streaming will be changed significantly this year with DMCA and other issues taking center stage. Twitch Amazon will finally step up to the plate to push the medium/legislation forward. So we're almost halfway through the year. Nothing's come of it yet, but I feel like something has to change this year.
Congress has arguably been a little busy with like pandemic and other stuff, but now that the vaccine's out and like a decent chunk of the population has been vaccinated and stuff like that, I think that they're going to start going back to these things that they probably shouldn't get involved with, but will inevitably get involved with.
Well, it doesn't even have to deal like the government doesn't need to be involved really. Even it's really just with the it might even depend on the outcome of this Epic versus Apple thing. Like if Epic wins and Apple has to change everything, that could, in theory, create a situation where Twitch feels more confident suing record labels essentially for the right to use music in a creative sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be a lot of ways that plays out. But I do think there will be more movement. Unless it really is just like every couple of years or every couple of months, even the music industry is like, hey, this isn't really cool, Twitch. And then Twitch bans a bunch of people and is like, here you go, we did a thing. And the music industry is like, okay. You know that meme where it's like that, it's one of the old memes. I forgot what they're called, but like the old, like, you know, like the rage face meme?
Yeah.
Those really old ones. There's one where it's like a guy, he's depressed. He's like, okay, honey. That one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's got a really big, like, veiny egg head.
Exactly. Yeah. They're them. They're that.
Yeah. I think they're both them.
That's true. They're both that way. They just sit and look at each other like, okay.
Hey, can you do this?
One of them is eventually going to get fed up and then divorce the other one, and then they'll sue each other. It'll be fine.
Yep.
John's third prediction was that Amazon or Stadia are pulling the plug, maybe merging with something.
So here's my question. Do I have any credit so far?
No. Because Stadia didn't do anything. Google's developers got
their
pulled.
developers.
Yeah. Stadia's still
I'm
running.
gonna leave it because one, Google clearly is not invested in this and they are making rash decisions such as shutting down their developers after 1 year of development. So they could easily just be like, you know what? Fine. This is, you win, we're pulling the plug. They could just do that one day out of the blue. But then the other thing is that the merging, the fact that like Stadia or Amazon Luna or whatever could partner with somebody else and like do some kind of merge. I think that's where I have the most realistic shot of getting points on this.
That's fair.
Because Stadia has to change. I don't see it as being sustainable because the only positive reviews I see are from basically bots.
My final prediction is that we will see at least one major publisher or studio make a public announcement about ending crunch policies, which will then spur others to follow suit. I don't think we've seen this yet. And at this point, I don't know that we will.
Which is sad.
Because there were just all of those stories about 343's crunch. I think that PlayStation is still crunching as needed. I'm trying to think if there's anybody that could. And I don't know that there is. That would like come out and say it at this point.
Yeah, if Xbox didn't slap 343 for doing it. I don't think anybody's going to do it. So I feel like Xbox would have capitalized on those White Knight points, right?
Yeah.
More than anybody else.
I think I'm going to go in the reverse and say, I don't want this to happen. But I think we're going to have...
It's a prediction. That doesn't mean you want it to happen. That
Sure.
just means you believe it's going to.
There will be another instance of intense crunch at a major video game developer leaked to I'm going to name him Jason Schreier before the end of 2021. It could be this. I could have this be proven. I would even count. I'm going to include like Halo in this because right now it's sort of all just like
vague.
Sort of vague. It was that one guy who sort of walked back his comments, but his comments have also been corroborated by other X343 people. So like it's definitely happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably not going to get leaked until after the game comes out. So if the game comes out, especially if it's like not good, we could have Cyberpunk 2077 2.
Pretty much,
Boogaloo.
yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be another instance. Maybe not on the level of Cyberpunk, especially because of just the mind share that Cyberpunk had last year, the prominence of CD Projekt Red, and like all of the expectations I think lead into that story becoming the bombshell that it was. I don't think we're going to get something on that level in terms of like it being a major deal, but it is going to be a developer that big. Like it's going to be someone from either EA or Ubisoft or PlayStation or Xbox or somebody. So there you have it. We've taken a look at our predictions.
We've made some amendments.
So with the 10 minutes we have left in this podcast, we're going to do a last category of predictions called Potpourri. Did I spell that right? There's no red squigglies. I guess I spelled potpourri correctly.
You did it.
I'm a guy that can spell potpourri. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to give you a category to make a prediction of, and you just have to make the prediction on the spot, and then you give me a category.
Okay.
It can be anything.
Okay.
So I want you...
I assume we should keep this relevant.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't want you to make a prediction about how the whole Israel-Palestine thing is going to go. I don't want that kind of deal.
Yeah.
Something relevant to this podcast.
On DC statehood and how it affects the future elections and stuff like that. Okay.
I want you to make... I thought this was going to be easier to come up with the things. Okay, I want you...
Yeah, how do you think I feel?
Yeah. I want you to make a prediction about Valve. Tell me something about Valve. What's Valve going to do?
What have they been doing?
Making money on Steam.
They've just been absorbing their money, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought that didn't Gabe say that they wanted to start developing games?
He did. He decided to fucking move to Mordor in the middle of the pandemic because he was there on vacation, decided just to not leave.
We're going to see. Okay, so then my prediction is that we will see the beginnings of not the fruits of their labor, because we're not going to see the games, but we're going to actually see a presence by them at, I don't know if it's going to be E3, but we're going to see Valve present at informational events this year where we normally would not have seen them.
Good
I just have
deal.
to do one prediction, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want me to predict?
What do I want you to predict? This is not easy. What's a good nerdy category that like would be fair, but also we know nothing about? How much do we know about DC stuff right now? Do we know anything about what DC is doing?
I know there's a Flash movie. I know that there's a Suicide Squad 2 movie. There's a couple Batman movies. I think. There's Robert Pattinson's. Isn't there another one? Maybe.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
All right. What do you think DC is going to do anything this year in terms of like announcements?
Did Wonder Woman come out this year or was that last year?
Shit, I know that it was
so they are
streamed.
I do know that they're doing the DC Fandom thing. When is that? DC Fandom. October 16th, 2021, the DC Fandom.
Oh, that's right.
What are they going to announce at the DC Fandom? They're going to announce something. Let's see.
What are they going to do at the DC Fandom? That is your prediction. What do you predict?
Heels of the Snyder Cut having some modicum of success. Do I think they bring Zack Snyder back in to do another Justice League thing? You know what? No. However, here's my prediction. I predict that they are going to continue the Zack Snyderverse Justice League universe, whatever.
Sure. They made their own multiverse without making Doctor Strange.
They're going to continue that universe. I'm going to be vague about it. It could be a comic book. It could be a animated series. It could be an animated movie. But I think that after like because there was like the Snyder Cut was sort of well received. And like, I think a lot of people were pretty happy with the way that it fixed a lot of the issues with the Justice League. I kind of feel like they're gonna continue that storyline. There might not be a lot of fanfare around it. Like I said, it could just be like a short run comic book, or it could be a animated movie. But I think they're going to continue. They're going to find DC is going to find some way to continue the Snyderverse. That's my prediction.
Right.
Do we just want to do one each? We've got time for maybe one more. Do two.
I think I'm personally good with leaving it at just one.
Just one? Okay. Then
unless you want to do a second. I mean, I could try to whip something up real quick. Whole new topic or within these topics that were already assigned?
No, I was thinking new topic. But I don't know what else.
I don't know what else there is. There's obviously a shit.
Here we go. Here it is.
Is this going to be for both of us?
No, this is it is, but for different reasons. So I'm going to ask you to predict a prediction that will make me happy. And I'm going to predict a prediction that should make you happy.
Huh. And it can't be one that one of us has already predicted, right?
It can't be one for one. If you want to change something about it or like add an additional thing or something like that.
Okay, because the big thing that I would go with would be that Atlas is going to focus on Persona 6 next. I don't think we're going to get all those other things that you are on your wish list, but that would be my gut instinct to go with. But that feels a little too cop-outy because you had Persona 6 mentioned in yours.
I would allow it. I just think it's the only thing we're going to get at Persona 6 this year is like a Metroid Prime 4 style teaser, probably. We're like, that game is so far off. It's probably 2024. Maybe 2023.
What would make Josh happy? Oh God. Okay. We are going to get, because I know that you don't believe it, so I'm going to believe for you.
Okay.
We're going to get Horizon and God of War this year. Because I know that you have your doubts on at least one of them coming out, if not both.
Yeah, they reaffirmed this week. Sony reaffirmed this week that Horizon Forbidden West is slated still for this year. They didn't mention God of War. I highly doubt God of War is coming out this year. If it does, though, that'd be great.
I'm holiday season. I know that it's not traditional for them, but fuck it. It's been a pandemic. We are peak non-traditional.
My prediction for you.
I feel like you came up with this category because you had a prediction for me.
No, I don't, but I kind of have a couple ideas. There's two that I'm thinking of.
Do either involve Zelda?
No, they don't.
Okay.
Okay.
What makes me happy, Josh?
2D or 3D?
Let's go 3D, because all of my 2/3 of my indie predictions were 2D. So let's go 3D.
Okay. Tequila Works.
Ooh.
Next game will... I don't know that it's... Well, they came out... 2019 was their last game, so it's been 2 years.
They should have something.
They theoretically should. I feel like it's not until next year, though. So I'm going to say...
they could announce something this year.
Yeah, I'm going to say they will be announced. Tequila Works' next game will be announced for... And here's the kicker. A variety of platforms. Because their last game was stuck on Stadia. So
yes,
I don't believe their next one will be.
No. I'm kind of curious, what was your idea for 2D?
My 2D one was going to be, I'm blanking on the name of it. It was, fuck, what are those games?
Give me any detail.
Death. What is
Death.
The one with the scientists, and they go in the person's mind and they do stuff and help them find peace. What the fuck is that?
To the Moon.
To the Moon. What's the what?
Finding Paradise?
Imposter Factory.
Imposter Factory.
Yes, I was going to say Imposter Factory was going to come out.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay. So there you have it. Some additional predictions to dig into at the end of this year when we get there. Didn't change as many things as I thought we were going to.
Yeah. I mean, with the point system, it made sense to kind of hold on to things that you still had. Like, if you had no hope, like some of my PlayStation predictions, yes, obviously change those. But like, if there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Then, like, you just have to be half right to get the same credit you would have if you got the whole new prediction right. So,
yeah,
it's a numbers game.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Quick Time Event Podcast. We will return next week with more of the Quick Time Event Podcast. The Extra Life reward for last year's campaign, which is a 24-hour stream, a second 24-hour stream, is coming up here on October 29th. Join us.
May 29th.
Did I say October? I don't know where I don't know what happened where that came into my head, but no, it's May. Not there yet.
Did you see the 10 from the time? Because it's 10:29 the time currently?
That probably was what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
I just wanted to make sure you weren't having a stroke.
No. At least I don't think so.
All right.
So yeah, May 29th, Saturday, May 29th, we will be streaming for 24 hours. We're going to be playing Persona 4 for a good chunk of that. We are going to do the Bob Ross thing during that. And then we're going to play a bunch of multiplayer games. Most likely Fall Guys, most likely Apex, most likely Overwatch, most likely...
I'm worried about Apex because I am not good enough to play with you. You are far superior, and I can, like... You don't ever say it, but I can feel it. Whenever I do something dumb that makes us lose,
so when we
I'm
played...
just like...
When we played... so John and I played Apex Legends on Monday?
Yeah.
The issue was that your friend was on PC and we were in PC lobbies. And I kept getting fragged by people with mouse and keyboard, and I felt very bad about myself.
Gotcha. I had so many smooth brain moments where like we were in close combat and I had a shotgun and I should have changed, but my brain forgot that I had any gun besides the scout.
It's such a fast game, and
that's why I like Arena. It's helping me get that, like, because I think that's my weakest part of the game is that you could play a 20-minute game and only find one other team. So like it's harder to develop that quick response time and like ability to know when you should change your gun. So Arena really helps with that because like that's quick. The entire point is to just be in a small map with another team. Like it's very combat heavy instead of survival heavy.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's probably because we're getting older, but I also feel like these shooters are getting a lot more mechanically intensive. Like compare this to Halo 2 and Halo 3 when it was a huge fucking deal that Halo 3 came out with equipment and utilized the B button or the X button or whatever.
Yeah, back then there was one movement speed and it was walk.
Walk forward. There's no sprinting.
Yeah.
It's just like, and you think about how fast Apex Legends is with climbing and with all the different abilities and with all of that. Overwatch is the same way with 20 some odd heroes, 30 heroes, I think.
At least Overwatch, like, you don't have two separate guns typically.
Yeah, the thing with Overwatch,
like, you have different abilities and stuff,
really
but like, you don't ever have to change your gun based on the situation.
No, it's just you have to the thing with Overwatch is you have to track so many different things.
Yeah,
but like, there's just a lot more happening in games now than there were in the multiplayer games we grew up with. But yeah. So join us on Saturday the 29th for a bunch of games. Come hang out with us in the Twitch chat. Come play games with us. Come join our Discord server. That link is in the video description below, as well as the Twitch panels. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Clasen. John is on Twitter at John Kaminko. And we will see you all next week.
Peace out.